And it says we are live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to J Hood Creative on this wonderful Saturday morning. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and holiday. Hopefully you got to spend time with your family and hang out and, eat some good food. And if you're really lucky like me, you got some good geeky stuff for Christmas. Hope so. So I'm sitting here in front of a live studio audience. Here's a preview of what I'm dealing with. I got the two little munchkins and Coach Vic over there across the table.
Daddy.
So you guys are going to be nice and quiet while we do this, right? Okay. If you want to go play, you can. You can be excused whenever you want. All right. Let's see. 2019, almost over. So this time of year, people take a chance to take a look back. But before I do that, I'm going to check out who's in my chat. Let's see. We've got Gray Man, I believe, was the first man in this morning. He was hanging out. Highly a Comic Bro, thanks for stopping in. Discovery Bay Comics, he's here. Great to see everyone. Am I missing anybody, Mr. Vic?
No, not at all.
All right.
Oh, thank you anyway.
So,
Daddy, why are you the only one on camera?
why am I the only one on camera? Because I'm selfish. From the mouths of babes. So 2019, wrapping up. So everybody's starting to look back at their year, kind of do a year in a review. So I think I'm going to start the show today with doing a little bit of that. So I'm new, right? So I just looked up my stats, not my analytics necessarily, but so I started Instagram, I believe, in August, and posted my first YouTube vid in September. Instagram might have been a little bit earlier. So YouTube, I've done this. The one we're doing right now is my 22nd video. I started on September 17th, so been going about 3 months, give or take. And I've racked up 173 subs. I think for that amount of time, I think we're doing pretty good. Instagram, I did 136 Instagram posts. Again, that's in like the last 5 months. I've got 332 followers. I think that's great. And so yeah, so I think starting up this whole. I had the two kids when I got here, so you just have to live with them. So yeah, I think so far, I couldn't be happier with the kind of the results I've gotten, the reaction, the following I'm trying to build and have built, and I want to thank everyone, all the subs that I do have. Thanks for subbing me up, and
You're welcome.
And especially thanks for joining in on our live streams. So, but this show's about comic books, not about kids, not necessarily about analytics on how a YouTube channel is doing. It's about comic books. So here are my not my heavy hitters, but these are the notable books that I've landed this year. This one is one that if I had done a list at the beginning of the year, and I don't do annual hunt lists because I've got kind of a long-term list of books. I'm going to get through all of them, so just be patient. Bailey, go sit in your seat. So this wouldn't have been on a hunt list for me when I started the year, but I reread a reprint of it, and I was like, I should have Swamp Thing #1 in my collection. So I went out, got one, and I fallen in love with this book. It's like I said, it's not one that has been a long time grail or anything like that, but I really like the issue, the copy I got. It's in a really nice condition for the kind of books I hunt. This is what she's doing.
What was Harper doing?
She's trying to interrupt, so sit down. If you guys can't behave, you're going to have to be dismissed, okay? These two books aren't anything super special, but they've been on my hunt list for a long time. And the reason being, they had Alex Toth story in them. It's a Black Canary story. Their issues, it's Adventure Comics issues 418 and 419. So if you're an Alex Toth fan, go hunt those down.
So Black Canary is part of the Supergirl storyline?
So Adventure Comics back in this era, they've got the main character was Supergirl, and they show 3 other characters at the top. So it's got four stories. There might even be more in the book.
Oh, okay.
And so this issue happened to have Phantom Stranger, Black Canary, and Dr. Midnight. And some of the stories might have been like Golden Age reprints.
Have you actually read that?
I read the Black Canary story.
Oh, okay.
And I am a kind of a fan of Supergirl and Superboy comics from this era.
Daddy?
The next. You want to be my model?
Yeah.
Model my how it looks? No, I don't need a model. So, one second. What, Bailey?
Do you remember me paying out those for you?
Do I remember you getting these for me?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Bailey got these for me at the
And
comic book
those.
store. And
I got 2
Superman and Batman.
Oh,
I got 2 bad guys.
I
and
think that's
2
Clark Kent, by the
superheroes.
way.
Well, yeah, he's showing the S, so yeah, Clark. Okay.
2
Bailey
bad guys.
also got me this cool Superman shirt for Christmas. So Bailey's got great taste. And Harper got me a cool thing I'm going to show in a minute. It's
I don't see Superman
stack
anywhere on that shirt.
crisp- You don't see what?
Superman anywhere on that shirt.
It's Marvel.
Oh, so it just makes it Superman.
Marvel comic books.
DC is Superman's under DC.
You said it was a Superman t-shirt.
Superhero t-shirt.
Oh.
Daddy, is Marvel.
Okay, you guys are really derailing me. So you need to behave. So another great Alex Toth book to hunt down is this issue of Frogmen #5. This is the only issue. I think there were six or 8 issues of Frogmen. This is the only issue that Alex Toth happened to draw. So that's been on my hunt list for a while. Other keys. I'm a X-Men fan, so this was the first appearance of Rogue. Don't touch.
What makes that king size, by the way?
It's okay. So at this time, the regular comics would have been probably a 40 or 60 cent cover price.
Mhm.
So this is double size and
Oh,
75 cents. So this is the recent rebuy I had of X-Men. What is it, number 56? So this is the decent copy I've got now that I need to have pressed to get rid of the spine roll. Other than that, it's going to be a really nice condition copy.
X-Men.
This is also a rebuy where I got a really super nice copy for this particular issue. It's hard to find issue 107 in really nice condition for affordable prices.
Really?
X-Men.
My highest ticket item for the year, X-Men 101, and you tell me the grade condition.
Was this where I say it's a 9/8 in white pages?
No, it's not 9.8.
Oh, I know it's definitely not crunchy.
It's a very nice copy. J Hood Creative trademark, very nice condition. The biggest knock on it is that the corners are not perfectly square. Other than that, the edges are pretty nice. It's got a couple non-color breaking spine ticks. The centering is great, and this book can be pretty shady when it comes to centering. And not everyone's concerned about that when it comes to condition, but there's a lot of cases when you get a lot of white showing along the spine from the cover being kind of shifted. So I've been working on building
Fantastic Four.
Kirby collection. So this was the first edition to that. So Fantastic Four number 51, the issue after the Galactus storyline. But it's also a really key book if you're a Thing fan. Tales of Suspense 60. Nice enough copy for me. The second appearance of Hawkeye, but the key for this is the splash page of Captain America. It's one of the Kirby's best Captain America drawing, in my opinion.
And Captain America.
First appearance of MODOK. Hey, Seawood.
Captain America.
And then I've started building my New Gods collection. Got this decent copy of Mr. Miracle number 1. It needs a press. It's got a little bit of a tear there, but when I bought it, it was good enough for me. I'm not sure if I'll ever upgrade it. I've been thinking about it, but I need to come look at this one every once in a while to remind myself this actually isn't that bad in a condition other than that tear.
Mr. Miracle.
Got the number 4 with the first appearance of Barda. What's this one, Harper?
For the Forever People.
Forever People number 4. So I believe this is the first full appearance of Darkseid. Got this from after the auction, after a White Whale auction. Got it from White Whale. When his auction was over, it did not sell. I got this from Bonafide Comics in an Instagram prize thing where they were just looking for subs and they were celebrating their 1,000 subs or follows.
Superman's ex-pal.
X-Pal.
Yeah.
What happened?
The new Jimmy
Makes you want to read it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen. Yeah. So this is the first cameo appearance of Darkseid. Now, I'm very grateful to Bonafide Comics for offering this as the prize in their competition or their little drawing they had. I'm not sure that they opened the book, and honestly, I didn't open it until recently and found that the top of the first page has been ripped off. So I hadn't intended on upgrading this. Now I probably will.
I've gotten some toys, so it wouldn't get bored.
Ooh, do we need to bring out the painting for this next one?
No. That's 1999. This is 2001. So this is a real recent grab, and this is a series I've been looking for about a year. And I bought this in a lot without issue 8. Issue 8 has the first appearance of Machine Man. I'm not about buying into the Machine Man spec. I do need that issue to complete the run, but I got this for a tasty $25 for the other 9 issues in the run. The thing about this that I like about this versus Eternals, I've tried to read Eternals and it's hard to get through. This is actually kind of fun because, believe it or not, Kirby did a really nice job of kind of revisiting the themes from the 2001 movie. And a lot of people are a fan of the cinematography in 2001, but not necessarily of the movie itself, or especially the ending. It's kind of ambiguous. I would encourage anybody that's got a problem with that to either read the book or read the Kirby adaptation, the big Treasury edition. I need to get one of those too. They both do a pretty good job of kind of filling in the gaps in the ending to kind of make it a little bit more palatable.
I got 2 questions about that.
Sure.
One, who's that your pinky's right above right there?
That guy?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I would imagine it's probably the Star Child or whatever that appears.
Because it looks, I mean, of course, it looks like somebody I've seen in other books, but I don't know who that was. And you said the Machine Man spec. What's that?
So in issue 8, a character is introduced named Machine Man.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of as the series goes, Kirby gets further away from 2001 or what was kind of set up in the movie. Okay. And it's not really a sequel to the movie. It just kind of carries on the themes. And so the further he goes, the more he gets away from that. So by issue 8, he introduces Machine Man, and I think they follow the adventures of Machine Man through the rest of the end of the series, and then they give Machine Man his own title.
Oh, okay.
So
Is he supposed to be in a movie or something?
the spec on Machine Man is that he played a part in the Marvel Zombies storyline, and the reason being they're zombies and he's a machine, so therefore he's going to.
He has no brains for them to eat.
Right. So there's that. What we got going on in the chat?
Daddy,
Nice.
do you feel old?
Highly comment, bro. Little known fact: Kubert was from High LA. Okay. Honestly, I didn't know High LA was a place.
It's a place somewhere.
Take everyone's word for it. The Gray Man says Hitchcock is from where he lives.
Oh, well, Chuck Berry's from my hometown.
What?
Same guy has 7 comments.
All right. Let's see. Let's do the Christmas haul.
Woohoo!
So,
In the middle, you can build a snowman.
like I said, part of it, thanks to Bailey.
Nice shirt.
You got a nice new Avengers coffee mug that I had hoped would be clean, but sorry. Got this from a good friend of mine. Name's Todd Bankert. And I believe it's a thermos. And it's got some candy in it, but it's a cool Lego head Batman. What's up?
Ty didn't get me nothing.
Oh,
These are the markers
yeah. I got him.
that Harper got me for Christmas.
And I got him his own superhero comic book. He can make it on his own.
I can make my own comic book.
Here's
The
a black one.
Blank comic book notebook just filled with panels waiting to be drawn in.
There's no funky panels.
Oh, well. Everything's in little boxes.
You can make your own ads too.
I can make my own ads. That'd be pretty cool. I have an ad
Sea
for
monkeys.
little girls for sale.
No.
Ooh, better yet, we could sell a Barbie dream house.
Barbie dream houses for sale.
No.
Buy 2, get 1 for free. We don't have to. Buy 1, get 1 free.
Buy 2, you get a little girl.
No,
for
don't
free.
even. No.
Guess what we got for Christmas? Barbie dream houses.
Big one.
All right. Okay, you gotta give me some space now. Sit back down. So people ask, well, when I say people, my family, my wife and my mother especially always ask me, what do you want for Christmas? And of course, I've got a tallying Amazon wish list that I take. So I've got so many things on my Amazon wish list that I make sub lists and categorize them.
Yeah.
And so when Christmas comes around, I go through each category, pull out a few things from each category and put them into a separate Christmas wish list and send that to my wife and my mom. And my mom generally
Over there.
follows it,
Too
and
much noise.
my wife will notice I have other lists. So she likes to surprise me by buying maybe a few things out of my wish list and then things out of all my other wish lists. So I need to go in and kind of categorize or rank all my wish list items. First thing she got was a big graphic novel called The Jungle.
Ooh.
And to be honest, I'm sure I asked for it and I can't remember.
About the meat packing industry?
Is that it? Oh. I can't remember what it was that attracted me to it. I might have looked at it at Barnes & Noble once and decided to.
I feel like this is the book I
Yeah, like
learned
this.
about in high school.
It is a period piece.
Yeah. The exploited reality of immigrants in Chicago's meatpacking industry in the early 20th century.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, I learned something from high school history, y'all. The Jungle, Upton Sinclair. That's interesting. They made a graphic novel out of it.
Mm-hmm. What do you need, Harper?
Nothing.
Okay, you gotta be quiet now.
I don't want
Another book I've been very interested to read, Kirby and Lee, Enough Said, by Tomorrow's Publishing.
Stuff said.
The complex, did I say enough said?
Yes.
Stuff said. The complex genesis of the Marvel Universe in its creator's own words. So,
Oh,
The rest of it.
a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool back matter about the beginnings of Marvel. I've become really fascinated by kind of the dynamic of Kirby and Lee, not necessarily to iron out who created what, but just to understand maybe a little bit better how a great partnership like that had broken down and how the two men were treated so differently by the company and the circumstances behind why they were treated so differently.
would it have anything to do with Stan Lee, like having such a strong presence on TV?
That had a little bit to do with it. I think the bigger part was that he was the nephew of the founder of Marvel Comics.
Nepotism.
Yeah.
So you want to, it has its advantages, if you're related.
You notice I'm not lifting this whole stack and bringing it over here on the desk. I'm going one at a time because each item gets a little bit heavier. This isn't comic book related, but this is Disney related. This is the hidden art of Disney's mid-century era.
Nice.
So this gives a little bit of background on the animators and designers for Disney from the 1950s and 60s. I'm trying to develop a slightly better understanding of mid-century cartooning and art. I think it's considered like the golden age. The 50s through the early 70s were considered kind of the golden age of illustration. So like lifestyle magazine illustration. I really love that stuff. So I'm trying to get more into understanding the aesthetic of the cartoons.
So are you going to be the one at Disney in a few years going, oh, look at this and everything except for the rides you're excited about?
No, I'll be excited about the rides too.
Okay.
This next book was written by Paul Levitz. Will Eisner, the champion of the graphic novel. So this is a book about Will Eisner. And I know a good bit about Eisner, and I really appreciate his work. And I'm just really was looking forward to maybe diving a little bit more in depth on understanding him. The fact that it was written by Paul Levitz, who had written the big DC Taschen book, the 75th anniversary book, I figured this would be a good one to check out.
Now, are most of his books like this, or is this more like a trade type of book? I noticed you have like 3 or 4 of those right here.
Yeah,
They're thick like that.
So a few years ago, who is this?
Or did he not write that book? Another book about him?
No, he wrote this. Okay, so this was from Norton Publishing. So what they did with these is they put together, I think, 3 related volumes of his graphic novel work into one large hardback.
Oh, okay.
So this is Life in Pictures, and let's see. This has The Dreamer, To the Heart of the Storm, The Name of the Game, and The Day I Became a Professional. So it's got sometimes more than 3, it looks like. And each one's related. So this one is kind of more autobiographical work. He's very inspired by his own life events and by New York City in general. One of the books is all about kind of stories that happen in New York City.
Yes, that would be this one, Life in the Big City.
That's it, yeah.
Hey, Comic Gories and Will Eisner, I got it.
So I've been looking forward to getting this for a while, and it's been on my list for years, and hasn't come across my path yet. So Genius Isolated, which covers a portion of Alex Toth's career. Very cool.
I made an corner. I messed up here. Item supplies.
Any surprise there?
Yeah.
artwork by Bailey. He's crying there, and he's surprised there.
But he has tears on that side.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be sad
Okay.
on this side. I tried.
I get
And
it.
I got it right on this.
Right. Thanks for sharing. So yeah, this is covers a lot of the kind of career and backstory about Alex Toth, who is really a kind of fascinating personality once you dive into him. His art, his kind of cantankerous personality, the fact that he didn't do a lot of work. I wouldn't say he didn't do a lot, but he doesn't have a large library of work at a major publisher like Marvel and DC. He was a golden age artist that did some work for DC, did a lot of work for companies that went defunct, and his style became, he's considered the artist because his style became so simplified over years. And so this next one is kind of the big thing. And
yeah, I've been eyeing that since I got down here.
so this is a large 2-volume set of the art of Ralph McQuarrie from Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
So he was, and I only peeked in 1 volume and didn't put it back in order, so that's why they're kind of backwards. But so this contains every piece of art Ralph McQuarrie did for the development of the Star Wars movies. So if you don't know the name, he was the guy that designed pretty much everything for George Lucas for Star Wars.
Daddy, I did it right on the first try. I made the girl happy.
So do you design like Admiral Akbar? That specific, or like the Ewoks village type of thing?
Eventually, they brought in more designers, so he didn't do necessarily everything, but everything in the initial movie he did do.
Okay.
I'm going to make the 5 now.
And it shows all the steps he took to draw it too.
Yeah, so it could be everything from storyboard to just paintings that kind of inspired the look of a scene. And it's that stuff that I was mostly interested in, is how let me see if I can find. The one fault I have with this that I've seen so far is that
it's huge.
There's that too.
This is a nice surprise one.
That they would split, big famous images like this across a spread instead of just keeping them all on one page. So this is, one of the early proof of concept illustrations that he did for George Lucas. If you read the book, The Making of Star Wars, you'll find that Lucas didn't even have his whole story put together until they edited the movie. He went through several generations of script, and this was just an early kind of, guys, quiet please, an early just proof of concept of where he would show investors what he was planning to do in the movie. So even though you never saw this specific scene, this is obviously not Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Vader. At this point, it was going to be, I believe it was Luke Starkiller was the character's name. It has Starkiller base in the later movies. And the character resembles nothing like what anyone saw on the screen. Yeah.
Huh. That's pretty cool, though.
Early Darth Vader helmet. So yeah, so this is heavier than a bag of sugar. It's probably a 20-pound 2-volume set, I'm guessing.
This isn't anything this isn't exactly a beach read either, right?
No. I am a fan of large books. I over in the other corner, I've got the 75 years of DC Comics and 75 years of Marvel Comics by Toshin, and the in a similar size and format, the big Jack Kirby book that Marvel put out a couple years ago. I think it was called King Size Kirby.
It's also a fan of large bookshelves too.
Yeah, that's,
Well, you need to be.
that's kind of my problem with this one. I need to find a place to put it. That's just the flyer that came attached to it that gives a little bit of information on what to expect on the inside.
You want to put these back over there?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm always, I consider myself blessed to have family that's willing to get me stuff that I'm actually interested in for Christmas. And
No socks, no underwear.
no socks. I got 2 T-shirts. Got this one and a Scooby-Doo one. Any comments from the chat? Talking about, yeah, need strong shelves, that's for sure.
Was IKEA make them that strong?
I doubt it. Most of the shelves I have in here are handmade. Yeah, even the ones, even my desk is handmade.
Oh, really?
My dad is a
Your dad
handyman.
made this?
He and I both, yeah.
Oh. I always thought this was really nice.
Very nice, Bailey. All right, so I've gotten some. Okay, so here's one of my collecting strategies I'm going to share with everyone. Save your money for the holidays because people have other things to do besides buy comics on eBay on the week of Thanksgiving, on the 4th of July. Bailey, go right now. On the week leading up to Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. There was not that much out there on Christmas Day, though.
Yes,
So,
there was.
If you are a person that doesn't have things to do on holidays, maybe your family isn't nearby, or you're in a position where you can slip away and take a look at your phone, see what's happening, or like I said, just leading up, I would say the time of the week before Thanksgiving up to Christmas, there's a lull in people spending on eBay. So you've got less competition looking at books, and you've got sellers that are making mistakes. And I have done my share of taking advantage. I've only got 2 examples. I've got another example on the way that I'll show next time.
Daddy,
Yes.
can you do it to the big screen?
Not right now.
Well, what about between, I guess, this period of time between Christmas and New Year's? Or people,
Now they've gotten money. They've gotten.
so now it's time
gifts.
to sell high.
Yeah. So what kind of things, Jay Hood? What kind of things can you get? What kind of deals can you get? So I've done my best to try and be good and not look ahead. So I've cracked open a couple buys that I have not opened all the way. I had a nice handy knife
So
here up until like right this second.
So the one thing you need to put on your shopping list is a pocket knife.
No, I had one right here.
Bailey started messing with it, so I had to hide it from her.
Oh, Bailey, you just got ratted out by your sister. Good move, Harper. This is not for you guys to play with.
Yeah. I feel like that
I
speech
hid it
has been
somewhere
given
where
with that
Bailey
knife for
wouldn't have known.
ages. I got that same speech. Stop playing with the X-Acto knife. You could hurt yourself. It only took me hurting myself like 3 or 4 times.
Thank you, Harper. You did the responsible thing. Okay, so I hate it when they use Scotch tape to take books to the mailer. And my glasses.
Oh.
So I generally, when it comes to Silver Age books, I'm satisfied that I'm learning the whole grading thing. So at least I think I am in some cases. So when it comes to Silver Age books, in most cases, I'm going to be real happy with a 6.0, and I'm probably going to be happy with a 4.0 as long as it's not eaten up with a bunch of color breaks.
Let me just ask this one more time.
Sure.
When's the Silver Age again?
Silver Age starts in the late 50s when I'll get it. When DC starts relaunching their superhero books with the Flash
Okay.
and Green Lantern and things like that, and it really gets rolling in the early 60s when Marvel gets launched. And then the end of all the hard dates are kind of debatable, but it pretty much ends. Silver Age ends about 1970.
Kelly has a lot of tape.
So, without further ado, I'm quite satisfied with this condition. I have to just have the invoice in it to show what I paid. It doesn't. But so my ouchie price on books is $40, right?
Yes.
This is Fantastic Four number 57 and about I would say 5.5 to a 6.0. So it's got a couple flaws around the edges, but no, like I said, no like 1 inch long color breaks anywhere. So the condition of this book definitely satisfies me. I believe this was $20 shipped, and this is a book that I've been hunting for essentially all year. And Harper, not so loud. And I had missed out on many auctions where I was bidding up to $30 and $40 on this book in this kind of condition.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So essentially, I landed at about half price versus what I would find like back in July.
But this is the Thanksgiving between Christmas buy, right?
Yeah, I believe this one was the week of Thanksgiving.
There's only one book in all of that?
Yeah. Yeah, that much cardboard.
I mean, half the shipping cost was a cardboard, right?
Can I have a cardboard?
Sure, you can have it all.
Yay. Cardboard.
Again, sandwiched between 4 pieces of corrugated cardboard. Although not tape, so even, well, yeah, it is. Where's the tape? Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's colored duct tape. Wow.
It's green duct tape.
So this is another Silver Age book
My favorite part.
that I had been looking for all year. Again, I was willing to pay up to $40 for it in a 4.0 to 6.0 condition. This was advertised as a 4.0. I'd say it's probably a little higher, probably a 4.5, but I'm not that refined in my grading skills yet, and I haven't cracked open the book to double check to make sure things like the centerfold's intact. But this one, I landed for $25 shipped. So this is Strange Tales number. Okay, guys, go. Strange Tales number 138. The first appearance of Eternity. So I've been looking for this book ever since Peter Quill mentioned Eternity in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Yeah.
Oh, Eternity's mentioned in that book, in that movie?
Yeah. But at the end when when Star-Lord's eyes turn black. So, yeah. Something I was willing to pay $30, $40 for, $15 shipped.
Nice.
Now this one, I was putting my girls to bed one night, and I'd been watching this one for a while and was kind of debating on whether this one was nice enough condition for what I was hoping to end up with. And I almost didn't bid on it. It was nearing my my target price. In the case of this one, I was willing to go up to $50. And I think it was at $50 when I looked at it. And literally in the last minute or less, I decided I'd go ahead and bid on it. And the reason I was hesitating was because it was advertised as a higher grade, and the pictures didn't necessarily reflect that to me. So long story short, I decided to bid. Actually, I won for $1 over the previous bid, got the book, and then I actually opened this up. I cheated, opened it up, and looked at it the other day because another one popped up that was approaching my price. It was in better condition than this, and I bid and lost on it. So I still have to decide if I'm going to keep it, but I've been looking for it for a while. So New Gods #1. I would say this is probably a 6.5 condition, so higher grade. It's mid-grade all day long. The faults with this one, slightly rounded corners are the main thing. Not much as far as color breaking spine ticks. It's really flat. The images looked more white online than they do here. And that's one thing about this book in particular is that it turns yellow really quickly, almost like that Forever People that I showed.
Oh, okay.
But looking at it, the cover is still relatively white. But I need to crack it open and take a look.
Nice. I see Comic Head 84 has joined us today.
Nice. Good to see you, Comic Head. So, you know what I hate is when I go to somebody's house on the holidays and they have a bunch of presents and packages and stuff, and they get to open them, and I sit there and I don't get anything. So, Coach Vic, these are for you.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. So I'm going to turn the camera around and you start with a big one.
Okay. Ooh. Never got my first presents on YouTube.
It's your first A-OK.
Oh, is that what this is? Ooh.
Technically, it's not. I think I've given you a couple books before. I hope so, because there's one I was looking for in my collection that I couldn't find that I think I probably already gave you. If not, I have some digging to do.
It's on my Amazon. I can tell by the smile.
The box is from Amazon, but
Everything in life is from Amazon.
yeah.
Remember that. Ooh, nice.
I'll get your coffee cup out of the way.
Yeah, they ain't paid for the advertisement. Brought to you by Yellow. Oh, nice.
So,
Oh, am I supposed to hold these up?
yeah, you can. But so that's got issues 1, 2, and 4 of the Black Panther, and I think I gave you the 3rd issue already. It's the first appearance of Shuri. And the rest of these are actually from my wife.
Nice.
She'd been interested in kind of race relations and pop culture at one point and picked up a bunch of stuff, and they've been sitting on a shelf, and she's like, maybe Victor wants these. And like this, in some cases, they're exactly what Victor's been hunting for.
Yeah.
That was just a throw in. It was in the stack, so you got it.
Yeah, but it's Lewis Carroll though.
Okay.
The Crew. Oh, is this a part of Black Panther in the Crew?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
This was an earlier. You're hunting for Black Panther in the Crew, but this is from years ago, and I can't honestly remember what it was about, but I know all the African American heroes were involved.
Yeah, basically that's it. Kind of like when you have it's like a lot of black movies. It's like all the black stars are in them.
Gotcha.
Like Coming to America, Harlem Nights. So that's kind of what this reminded me of when I saw it.
Gotcha.
Because they're all involved. This is nice.
So the thing is, we're giving you 2 runs, and I think each one is missing 1 random book. So you still got some hunting to do.
Nice. Thank you. The future. Robert Morales. Truth, Red, White, and Black.
So this is the story of the super soldier serum that was tested on black men before it was given to Steve Rogers. At least that's my understanding of it.
Is this how we got the original Captain America? Or yeah, because I think I remember. Isn't this Captain America?
Mm-hmm.
The black one, I guess.
Yeah.
So what they call him? I think I asked you about this not too long ago.
Yep.
Nice. Thank you.
Yep.
Sweet.
I like to color in paint.
Cool.
Use a lot of tape in here, don't they?
Yep.
I'll tell you one thing. You keep Scotch in business. 3M.
Mm-hmm. And then there should be a long piece of tape.
Oh, there we go.
Turn the knife over. There you go.
Daddy, what does this? Daddy, what does P-L-E?
I know this is riveting video right here.
Daddy,
Me struggling to open the box.
You want me to get it?
Daddy.
Uh,
Play.
There we go.
In genuine Gemini mailers.
No, this is a.
Oh.
This is not
Gemini?
Yep.
I am a Gemini. My sister mentions that to me every time we talk.
So, yet another piece of tape.
This is a D. Daddy,
No, it's not taped. It's some type of.
You have to cut this.
Oh, okay.
Daddy, this is not A. It's a D.
That's plaid. There you go. Now that might be taped even, so be careful. So
It's like my cousin Anita. She would wrap presents up, and we were just like, we hated getting presents from her because, like, you got to spend a half an hour getting all the tape off of stuff.
I'm doing a duck face. Quack, quack. I got my little beak. Quack, quack, quack. Quack.
these are a couple books I felt you should have. So I went out and found them for you.
All right.
What is it? I think.
It's funny. I was talking to my wife. I said, you know, one thing I want to do this year is learn more about comics, learn more about books. That way, like, whenever somebody gets something that they're like all excited about, I don't have to wait for somebody to say what it is.
It's a freebie, Daddy. Freebie.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
One there, one there, and one there.
Iron Fist.
So this is not the book I plan to buy you. I plan to buy you Power Man and Iron Fist number 50, which was the first issue of where both of them were on the masthead. Because I thought that was the first time they teamed up, but as it turns out, it was number 48. So this is the first team up between Power Man and Iron Fist.
Wait.
It's that book again.
Wait.
Please don't bend.
That's one.
So, Power Man and Iron Fist. What's Power Man's power? Or is he like?
It's Luke Cage.
Oh, it's Luke Cage?
Yeah.
Oh, I should have known because that's the headband that you like, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you wish he had in the TV series.
Yep. Should have wore a headband and a yellow tunic and had a chain for a belt. I really missed the chain for a belt.
He does. He should have. Of course, I'm still trying to figure out how anybody could defeat Luke Cage. Of course, that goes back to the whole Superman thing. How can anybody beat Superman?
Yep.
Well, Luke Cage actually didn't have a weakness, though. Hey.
Daddy, what do you think this is?
I don't know.
It's a park. It's hot spot.
Well,
I turned letters
There you
into something.
They both don't collect color tape, do they?
I don't collect anything you hand them, probably.
I used
Ooh.
to sometimes.
From Home Depot, too. I didn't know they sold comics there.
Me either.
I mean, you probably have to wait an hour for somebody to help you, but let's see. Man, this is exciting. So, one thing is people put this stuff in secure,
That's the thing.
and that's important, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, there you go.
So this is my personal favorite run of Black Panther
Okay.
from Marvel Knights. So this is when I can't remember what they called it. His bodyguards, the female bodyguards, the Dora Minaj or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
That's when they first came on the scene.
Oh, really? Nice. And so this is when they first come on the scene?
Yeah, I am not positive they make their first appearance in that issue. They probably do though.
Okay.
But it is the first time where I ever felt inspired to read more about Black Panther.
Okay. Nice. Thank you, Jamie.
You bet.
Now I feel bad and get you anything.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about that. This is my thanks to you for helping me out with this whole YouTube thing.
Oh, this is fun. I enjoy this.
All right.
So what?
What?
Is it a lot yet? Daddy, you're going this way, and I'm going that way.
You are. Okay, now, last time I promised everyone a look at some of my, what I would consider priceless comics. So these are comic books that it's hard to put a value on because of what they are and what I've kind of done with them. And B, I wouldn't part with them. In a couple cases, my wife has promised to bury them with me when I die, and I truly hope she doesn't do that to the world because I think they're somewhat special. What do you got, Harper, before you interrupt us one more time? The Home Depot cardboard slab and bag it.
You don't have to look at him if you don't want to.
Okay, go. You've had your fun. Go.
I'm watching it.
All right, let's see here. Go. We're going to start out with a couple things that people are going to kind of maybe laugh at. So remember, I've been doing this for a while. I bought the books I'm going to show you. I bought them when they were new. I bought them off the rack. So the first one, Marvel Swimsuit Edition, or Marvel Swimsuit Illustrated, with a really cool She-Hulk illustration by Brian Stelfreeze. Now, I will call your attention to the fact that if I hold it in the light just right, this Brian Stelfreeze autograph right here shimmers because
There it is.
that is an autograph signed in silver pen. So, Coach Vic, help me keep track. So that's number one.
2.
Mike Zeck. That one had me fooled.
It's funny. I was watching a video and they were talking about a comic that had She-Hulk in it, and apparently she ended up in Playboy or something like that.
Yeah, I've got that issue.
A Playboy or the comic?
Joe Jusko. So that's number 3.
Who was that?
He's the guy that painted.
No, who was she?
Mary Jane
Mary Jane
Watson.
Oh, Spider-Man's girlfriend?
That's the one.
Oh,
You don't have to be a superhero to make it into the centerfold of the Marvel Illustrated edition.
just saying they've downgraded Mary Jane Watson through the years.
Okay. So how many was that so far?
3.
Okay. This one's for Discovery Bay right here. Rob Liefeld. Tiny Michael Golden one right there. Jorge Perez. George Perez. George Perez, I guess, as he likes to put the emphasis on the other syllable. Whilst Portatio.
7.
John Romita Jr.
I'm going down here.
8.
Walt Simonson.
Jeez.
Mike Mignola.
Jeez.
I think that's all for this one.
10. No, you say you bought that like that, or did you go out and get all those signatures?
I bought the issue new and went out and got the signatures over the years.
Man.
So when was this published? Let me get my spectacles. $1991.
Wow. Senior year of high school.
Okay. Marvel Swimsuit Special from probably 1990. The other one was 91. This was probably 92.
How many of these did they do?
I want to say 4 or 5, and they went down in quality as they went. So this one has Mark Silvestri on the cover.
There's 10 in the last one, right?
Yeah.
Really, Storm couldn't make the book. I'm just saying, or is that the wrong book?
Storm would have made it. She was in that one. I didn't have it signed.
Oh.
Dale Keown. Brian Stelfreeze again. Right there, the silver. Brian Stelfreeze yet again, and P. Craig Russell. Right there, right near the spine.
Okay.
Will Sportatio. John Romita Jr. and Walt Simonson. That's a great Romita Jr. She-Hulk.
Daddy,
The way he uses the greens, the shades, it's just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like they'd be really hard.
I need somewhere to put tea.
Okay, I can't help you right now. Some dude named Jim Lee. Down there
Where?
at the bottom.
Oh, thought it was grass.
George Perez again. Alan Davis right there by my fingers. Keeping track.
11.
11. Joe Kusada right there on Ghost Rider's skull. This one's kind of fading. Adam Hughes. It's right there.
Oh, that's
Between the
it.
girls.
13.
And these are books that I'll still take with me if I see somebody on a guest list that I don't have. Mike Vignola.
14. I was going to ask you that. If you said your goal to get them all signed.
Yeah, it'd be cool. And there are some that I've had signed and have missed them. Jay Lee. Another Joe Jusko.
16.
Pretty sure I had him sign this one twice. I might be wrong. Either that or the signature's fading. For sure I had this one signed again, but I can't find it. But that was another Adam Hughes piece. And that is it for that one.
16 or 17. Depends if you count that last one.
Okay.
Now, here's the question. I know you talked about how you have your hunt list, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have the signature hunt list?
I've got, I believe I went through both books and I wrote all the names of all the artists on this card. And so I check them off as I get them, or I try to. So I use this as a quick reference of who I've got or who I don't.
Is there anybody that's going to be at C2E2 that you want?
No, I'm
Or
not
me?
sure. I haven't looked ahead. I've glanced at that guest list, but haven't.
Studied it yet?
Yeah. So, Batman Black and White. This is essentially volume 2. So, on big books like this, I try and get all the people that I run into that worked on it to sign it. So, I'm not going to run through everybody on this book, but you see Richard Starkings, Garcia Lopez, Azzarello, Simonson, Eduardo Rizzo, looks like a Chris Claremont, Michael Golden, Alex Ross, Gene Ha, Richard Starkings, I think I said him once, Tim Sale, and who did the Batman thing? Kyle Baker did the little Batman head.
So, do you bring your own silver markers with you and stuff?
Yeah.
Batman Black and White. I looked at one of his books like that, except it was smaller.
So
Name cap.
these are kind of the more minor ones. These the ones I've shown you have been the ones I've done for fun, and these next couple I take a little bit more seriously, and even more recently I'm taking it even more seriously than I had before. Yeah, been getting a lot of SIGs in my Ultimate Spidey 100 project book. May start a new one soon. Love getting multiple SIGs. Yeah, it's in my history of collecting, up until recently, the phenomenon of having to pay for an autograph
Oh,
is a new thing.
that probably kills everything, doesn't it?
There's one thing I wanted to show. Where did I put it? Okay, stop.
Okay.
I'll be right back. That's right.
So now that I have these books, I need to create a list and create eBay watches. And
That Black Panther book, the
Mhm.
the more recent one.
This one, or
This one I looked for you at the last C2E2 we went to because Christopher Priest, the writer on this, was there.
oh, okay,
So I was trying to find the trade of it at least, but
Okay.
even that, it wasn't in print at the time. I think they brought it back
okay.
into print for the
Oh, is that who Priest and Teixeira are?
Christopher Priest is the writer and Mark Teixeira is you say Teixeira because of the baseball player.
Right.
He goes by Teixeira, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly why I said Teixeira. Teixeira.
So, like I was saying, paying for autographs is a new thing, and almost all these that I've shown, 98% of the autographs in my collection, the only price I paid was the price of admission to get into a show and the time to stand for hours in lines to get. With it, like I said, 98%. So when I first started doing this, the first convention I attended was Chicago Comic-Con in the summer of 1989. I asked my dad to take me. He took me, drove me. I told him there would be parking at O'Hare Airport and there would be a shuttle to the show.
Mhm.
I didn't realize what O'Hare Airport was. I just know the show was near there. So it's like we drive in, you have to pay just to get into the parking lot.
Yeah.
So he wasn't too happy about that.
Did he actually go to the show too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we ended up got out of the airport, found the show. Back then, I had to have seen an ad in a comic book, it had to have been a comic book or maybe a comic scene magazine. Wizard magazine wasn't a thing yet. It was right when Wizard was starting. But I saw an ad for Chicago Comic-Con, and I think it probably listed a couple of guests. But I was like, let's go. I wonder what this convention thing is. And to kind of paint a picture of what a convention was like back then compared to what it is now, this was in a hotel, so they occupied the ballroom and the hallways, and it wasn't that they had all the artists in an artist alley. They had tables and spaces. I'll be right with you. Go play. Go get under your fort. Go in there. Turn your light on. Their fort is my drawing table. But so they would have a dealer, golden age comic book artist, another dealer, another artist. Not that light, silly. Turn that light on.
What light?
This one.
I have light.
So everything was all jumbled together, and they would still have panels. And I remember going and sitting in a panel and seeing things like, I'm trying to remember what was the Daredevil miniseries with Frank Miller wrote that John Romita Jr. drew. I'm sure the chat is going to yell it out, and I can't remember it exactly. But man, it's killing me that I can't remember it. So I'd go to a panel and they would announce things like that, and it'd be like a year before the book is put out. You guys need to be quiet. So a couple years later, so Dad took me to the first one. The next one, I think I drove my brother to. Guys, the next one I took my girlfriend, eventually to be wife to.
You took Georgette to one?
She loves them. She likes people watching stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was familiar with the artists I liked, and I had gotten this certain book, and I was always hoping that I would meet a certain artist that was kind of always one of my favorites, but he wasn't on the guest list. And it was okay. I forgot to mention that the ad that I saw for the convention had a telephone number. Call this number for the guest list. So you would call. It had to have been a toll-free number, but I would call that number and listen to the recording over and over and write down the names, so I could figure out, who was going to be there. And the name I never saw was Neil Adams. And so one time I was walking, my wife and I were walking up to go to get in the show, and somebody was handing out flyers. This flyer, to be precise, and can't remember if this one had a date on it or not. No, it doesn't. But if you read the text, can I navigate the camera? So this was the early 90s, and it says Neil Adams is a guest of Northeast Comics Exchange. So he was going to appear at a dealer, not even at his own table space, and will only be signing items from this booth free of charge. You'll also be able to purchase autograph tickets for $5 each to get his autograph on any additional items you may have brought. Limit to 5 tickets per person.
Oh, that's a steal. Well, now I knew it.
What do you need?
Bailey won't share.
Okay, you guys need to get along.
Bailey won't share.
You guys need to get along.
I can't get along because she won't share at all.
All these people are seeing you. Is this how you want people to know you? I love you. Go play.
So you had to go to the Comic Con and buy stuff from their booth and buy a ticket from their booth. Then you had to go to their store.
No, if you bought stuff at their booth, you would sign it for free. But if you brought your own thing, you have to buy a $5 ticket.
Oh, so you didn't have to go to the Comic Con. You just had to go to their store.
Well, it was inside the Comic Con. It was a dealer space.
Oh, okay.
So what book had I brought with me? I had brought this one and this one. The greatest Batman stories ever told. The greatest Joker stories ever told. And these are the books that my wife claims she will have buried with me. And I hope she does not, because, okay, so autograph number 1 on this one, Dave Dorman, who did the cover art. It was a great piece of art. And these books are not, you can't carry these books to and from a convention and hope they're going to be in mint condition, so they're not. I take the dust jackets off when I travel with them. Yes, Bailey, it's okay. And I've actually had a couple other artists sign in different spots. I was going to see if I can track those down real quick so I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 autographs just on this spread. I'm pretty sure there are a couple others spread through the book.
Nice.
And we've got a cat walking on the ceiling tiles. He's going to fall on my head in the middle of a live stream.
Ooh. Then we can send America's Funny Home Videos.
So, who's on here?
Ooh. That signature looks familiar.
Dick Giordano. We've got Carmine Infantino, Michael Golden. I'll come back to Joe Giella. Shelley Moldoff, Denny O'Neil, Len Wein, Murphy Anderson, Knucklehead Neil Adams, Steve Englehart, Jerry Robinson, Walt Simonson, one of the coolest signatures, Dick Sprang, Archie Goodwin down there in the corner, Mark Wade, I think he was an editor on the book. Mike Gold, I think, was a publisher. Terry Austin, and Julius Schwartz. Yeah, Comic Head. It's an Infantino signature. So, like I said, I've always taken this book a little bit more seriously than the rest as far as getting things autographed on it. And when I went to the Indianapolis Comic Con this year, I went for two reasons. One was for Jim Starlin's autograph, and the other was Joe Giella, who was an inker on a lot of iconic Silver Age books, including a lot of Batman work and even the Flash of Two Worlds. He did the inking on the cover art on that, and the game changed for me when I had him sign this, because he had a relatively short line, and he was selling large prints of black and white covers, reproductions that he had done, and he was charging, I believe, $8 for an autograph, which I thought was kind of an odd price point. And he had either his son or his grandson there, and Joe Giella has got to be 90 years old. He was working in the Silver Age and might have gone back to the Golden Age. I'm not sure. So I stand in line, and it's my turn, and I'm not nearly as chatty in person, especially with strangers, as I am on my live streams. I am believe it or not, if you only know me from this, I'm a shy person. Okay. So when I get autographs, I don't do a whole lot of chit chatting. Usually the best I can do is say, "Hey, thanks for coming to the show. Thanks for coming to the area so we can meet you." And so I hand my books to have Joe Giella sign them, and he very meticulously signed his name. Like I said, he's an older gentleman. He wanted to make sure he signed it very clearly, and he did it the same thing for everyone. And he had actually chose a different pen for whatever reason to sign this, and signed it very slowly. And so he's guys,
Ladies.
quiet. He lifts it to hand it back to me, and he kind of does a double take. He kind of pulls it back, and he looks at it, and he gives me this kind little smile, and I kind of smile back and say, "Yeah, I've had a lot of people sign this book, people you're probably familiar with." And he hands it back to me, and he says, "A lot of my buddies have passed."
Oh, man.
And that's when I realized what a memorial something like this is. And it makes it mean so much more. And it's something that has to outlast me too. You know, that's why it's got to become a museum piece or something like that eventually. It's definitely can't be buried with me. Girls, Mommy tries to bury this with me. You tell her no. Okay.
I'm gonna send it to the Hall of Heroes.
The Hall of Heroes is a local museum, and that guy will take anything you hand to him. Nothing against him. If it ends up there, I don't know if there's a better place it could end up with.
Daddy,
Yeah.
he said it'll be with me in a minute. In past a minute.
It's past a minute. Okay, I need a few more minutes.
Oh, make it 25 minutes.
I need 25 more minutes. So similarly, greatest Joker stories ever told. Basically, if the people I had sign the book had to have work in it, and it doesn't necessarily cross over in every case, but in a lot of cases they're the same.
Now, do you have a cheat list for these two books too?
I used to, but it's easier for these because they have a few pages at the back that kind of give a real brief bio on all the
is that oh no, that's just a stamp. I was like, is that your signature next to that? But See, that's the Joker by each one.
But like I said, there were a few other places in these books that I had signed. Like Bernie Wrightson didn't have any work in either of these books, but he did a Batman a Batman issue or a Swamp Thing issue that had Batman in it that he did art on, and they used a piece of art. Okay, there. So there's Bernie Wrightson and one other significant name. Again, so this was the only piece of art that they used in the whole book, which was kind of a shame. Gil Kane. So who is also another iconic Silver Age artist. So yeah, so when I say priceless, it's impossible to put a value on these. If somebody came and offered me $10,000, I don't think I'd take it.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
oh yeah, I guess you're right.
okay, so what in
It'd be like if I had like a Dream Team jersey signed with all the Dream Team members on it.
There you go. But how many of those exist?
Probably not many. Well, they probably all had to sign. Yeah, you're right.
More than one, right?
Yeah.
At least 10?
Yeah.
There's only one of each of these.
Nice.
And so let's just use the figure of $10,000. What would $10,000 buy me? It'd buy me a Hulk 181, a nice copy. Not even a 9.8. 9.8s are like 30, something like that, 30,000,
Really?
50,000. Yeah, something crazy.
Is that your dream book, the Hulk 181?
It's not, because I don't think of it in those terms. I guess there are
or
no
Grail, rather, to use proper terminology.
There are no books out there that I feel like I'm missing out if I don't own them.
Okay.
That's not necessarily true. So there's not any book of real value that feels like that. I mean, when it comes to like Frogman #5 with Alex Toth, that's not reprinted anywhere. You would never have access to that story unless you have Frogman #5.
Okay.
Versus everything in these books has been reprinted several times. But if you bought the original copies of these, like Batman 251 is a Joker story, iconic Joker story that's reprinted in this. It's a nice book to have, and it's one that's on my hunt list. But I've read it, so I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
So the one, I guess I'm not going to say I have a regret, but the one autograph I wish I had in these was Bill Finger, and he passed way back before I started this whole thing. I also regret I don't have a Jim Aparo in this, because he was kind of the seminal Batman artist of the 70s, my formative years. But you ask, what about Bob Kane? Well, Bob Kane was kind of a media whore. And it's not impossible to come across his autograph. And when the used bookstore that I bought my first old comic books from went out of business, they happened to have a copy of Batman and Me, which was the autobiography of Bob Kane with Tom Andre, which means Bob Kane gave him a couple ideas and he filled in the rest. And Bob Kane takes all the credit for all the creation of Batman, which nowadays we have come to realize is not really the case. But it came with a signed plate with Bob Kane. So even though it's not in my greatest Batman stories ever told, I do have an autograph from the creator of Batman, Bob Kane. When it comes to,
you just got the half price store,
it was
or a used bookstore.
It was a used bookstore, and at that point, everything in the store was half off except for signed editions.
Oh, okay.
So I had to pay the full price of $35, which what was the retail on it back in the day? It doesn't say. It was probably, yeah, it's not on there. It was probably a $50 book back then, maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, signed books. One of the other things I've been kind of throwing out there is the fact that I want to start showing this thing off, and I want to do it in some fashion that's more than just, hey, look at this cool sketch I got. So I'm still looking for somebody that wants to maybe unveil theirs at the same time. Before I described it as a sketchbook battle, but it doesn't have to be that. Maybe it's just two people that haven't shown off their sketches yet, and we're going back and forth. Speaking of that, I have more original art than what's in this book, and I'm going to be showcasing that on Comic Books NYC's channel on Monday at 9 Eastern. So I'll be on there with him, and I approached him about this. He had mentioned that he had some original art, and he showed off that Jack Kirby page. And originally we were talking about it in the abstract. He's like, yeah, I've got some original art pages that I haven't shown. I'm like, well, I've got some too. Let's get together and show them. And then he shows his Jack Kirby page, and Harper. So he shows his Jack Kirby page, and I'm like backing away from the table. And then he talked the other day about the fact that he's got a Neil Adams page from an X-Men issue. And I'm like, yeah, I got some stuff. So, but I'm looking forward to showing what I do have. And even though
that's PM, right?
Yeah, 9 p.m. Even though his stuff is going to be of higher stature, I think people are going to be interested in what I've got. And especially if you're a Batman fan, obviously I've shown like the Batman stuff I've got. So there's going to be some Batman involved. So again, yeah, that's Monday at 9 on Comic Books NYC's commercial channel. And let's see, we've been going for a while, so we could probably start wrapping this up. I know Discovery Bay said he's going to do like an all-day pop-up shop starting at noon Eastern, which is in about a half hour from now. And he's basically taking anybody that wants to pop in and do a little auction with him. He's got an open invite. I may take advantage of that depending on how my afternoon works out. I've got something planned for later in the afternoon, and there's a football game coming on at noon that has local interest, so I may want to check that out, but I'm not sure. So I think that's going to be it. Sorry for all the distractions. They're happy distractions. You got anything else you want to mention, Mr. Coach Vic?
Well, I got a couple of things.
Okay.
See if I can find it here on the old, what do you call this, the Instagram. There's something that I saw that looks like it'll be interesting. But well, while I look for that, there we go. So tonight, Life with Two YouTubers is doing a thing, says everything about becoming an author. Join us this Saturday as we welcome the boy who had 7 to discuss reading, writing, and literature. So I think that'll be interesting. I guess that's tonight. What's that? 8 o'clock Mountain Time. So it's 8 o'clock Mountain Time. You can do your own math. I think that's 10 o'clock Eastern.
I think that's right.
And just, so I can have it out there in the universe. Notre Dame's going to win today. Ohio State's going to win today. And the LSU is going to win today.
Okay.
And then Ohio State's going to smash LSU. Just so you know.
So you're calling the national title game?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there's your bold prediction from Coach Vic. LSU and Ohio State, with Ohio State coming out on top in a couple of weeks. All right. So we'll say goodbye. How do we say goodbye on my channel? You remember? Faith, family, comic books. We'll see you next time, guys. Boom.